I am so very happy to be here today. I'm new in OutSystems. What a welcome, what a welcome. So look, since I joined OutSystems in June, a short 4 months ago, I have realized that we sit uniquely positioned in two major trends that are going to play out in the next 1 to 2 years. What an exciting time to be in technology and product, especially here at OutSystems. So, the first trend of these two trends is low-code itself. If you listen to leading analysts, you look at their research actually, you realize that low-code is one of the top 3 priorities that leaders in the world have. And before you ask, you know, of course, what the number 2 and number 1 priorities are, it's AI and more AI, of course. So if you take AI away, low-code is the most important priority for leaders at the moment. And by the way, we have tons of things to say about AI, as you will see in a minute. Now, if you look at the data, you actually realize that 88% of developers already use low-code for some of their work. That's North American developers, by the way. And before you ask, because I know you will, if I know you, I know you will, 50% use it for most of their work. So it's already in the rise. To me, that is fantastic. And if you look to the future, you see a 5-fold increase predicted in the use of low-code application platforms for mission-critical applications in 80% of the business globally, and that is up from 15% this year. Imagine that. So if I were to summarize this, low-code is hot, and it's only getting hotter. Now, the second trend, Paul already took all my lightning, so he just, you know, the generative software cycle is here, in our opinion, to stay. Generative AI has undoubtedly had a profound effect in software engineering, and it has been widely adopted already. This is not something that is going to come in the future, it's something that is here today. But you don't have to take my word for it. If you listen to many of our leaders in our industry, you see that, for example, Code.org's CEO, it's like writing without a word processor if you don't use AI. Or NVIDIA CEO, every worker will have a digital companion in the future. We agree. I agree. But as I said, Paul already mentioned this topic. I'm not going to belabor the point, except to say that this convergence between low-code and AI is something that we've been working on for years, and we've intensified specifically in the past 2 years. OutSystems is ready, we're leading the change, and I am so very excited to be here to share some updates with you. Specifically, I want to tell you all about Mentor, which is the industry's first full software development lifecycle digital worker. That's a mouthful. That's why I just fumbled it. They don't make it easy for non-English speakers, I'll tell you that. Now, but what do we mean by digital worker? What is Mentor? And where does it feed? Where does it fit within the OutSystems world, the ecosystem? Let me help you frame it. You know, within ODC, we have the main components of our platform, and that, of course, includes the application development using our visual modeling language, and that brings us tons of productivity to our developers. This is what you know and love. We have our integrated DevSecOps solution that provides the enterprise-grade governance that you need. And of course, last but certainly not least, a cloud-native infrastructure out of the box so that your applications are cloud-native and scale appropriately with demand, elastically, wherever in the world that demand happens to be. That's all fantastic. But today, we are adding one critical piece to that puzzle. Mentor is our collection of tools and AI agents, and it includes a number of features to do app generation, delivery, monitoring, and maintenance, basically throughout the entire SDLC. Fantastic. Now, at this point, if you're like me, especially all of the developers out there are saying, how is this any different from the many AI coding assistants that you see out there? And there are many, right? So why don't we tackle that head on, put away any misconceptions early, and then we're going to get into the demo. Now, to summarize, I believe that Mentor is in a league of its own for 3 reasons. Let's take them in turn. The first reason is context and focus. Simply put, we are able to use context that other AI coding assistants simply do not have. Thanks to the breadth and depth of our low-code platform, we are able to reuse data entities, reuse information from the applications you've already generated in your organization, pick up themes, data connectors, integrations, and much more. All of these is information that helps Mentor provide you with much better recommendations, but most importantly and crucially in the world of generative AI, where you want to control hallucinations, is that all of this data is used to ground our AI models using Mentor's multi-rack framework so that all the applications that we generate for you are bespoke to you, are reliable, and are yours in every which way. I think this is, as a technologist, this is beautiful. The second reason that makes us different, it's all about abstractions. Paulo touched upon in his keynote as well, but developers build on our systems by nature at a much higher level of abstraction, much more. These abstractions have been tuned and honed for 20+ years. They work. We make humans incredibly more productive. But guess what? Mentor is no different. No different. The same advantages apply. Just as we help human focus on the things that are important in your business, we help Mentor focus. Instead of needing to worry about the tons of minutiae of generating low-level code, Mentor can create and manipulate proven abstractions and proven models. And with that, with this increased focus and increased abstraction, simplicity, if you were, Mentor can handle much more complex applications and much larger ones. And that helps us, gives you a system that allows you to create a full end-to-end application for you. And I believe that makes us different. And the last reason is security and governance. Now, to not beat around the bush, because this is a topic you all know, are very familiar with, I am sure, organizations that build mission-critical applications need much more than just a pair programmer. And Mentor, I'll have you know, is no ordinary pair programmer. Because organizations need versioning, build stacks, guardrails, a ton of things. They need to think about security, compliance, internal governance. You know this. You live it every day. So we have 23 years of development in our platform. We've done this. We do it every day for you. We simplify all of this. By enabling Mentor and pairing it with our low-code platform, we enable it to produce applications that are world-class, cloud-native, and take into account all of these non-functional requirements from the get-go. Right? To me, that is fantastic, and it's one of the reasons why I joined OutSystems, to be perfectly honest. Now, for those 3 reasons, I believe that is why Mentor, in my opinion, in our opinion, is a step function in terms of what AI can do for software engineering, for software development. But you know what? Enough theory. Concretely speaking, how exactly is Mentor helping you throughout the SDLC? Okay? Now, first, to keep it very simple, because I truly bored you to death with all of the reasons before, there are 4 things that Mentor does for you. First, it will use generative AI to create an initial version of your full multi-screen application. Second, as you iterate throughout that application, as you develop and test your system, it will constantly use artificial intelligence to provide suggestions and recommendations. Meanwhile, updating all the data models and screens as you go so that you can see it live. It's fantastic. Third, if, as I am sure many of you have asked to, have to include AI in the applications, embed AI in the applications, Mentor will help you there as well. It's going to make it terribly easy for you to add generative AI in your applications. And last but not least, Mentor will keep track of your applications throughout their deployed state and maintenance states, using artificial intelligence to review it periodically so that you ensure things like architectural consistency, security, etc., code quality, and much more. Now, I don't know about you, but I've talked enough, and I am sick of slides already. So why don't we change gears and see Mentor in action? We're going to follow this presentation with those 4 pillars on what concretely Mentor does for you. So let's start with the generate portion, but that is very hard work, much too hard for a dumb executive like me. So for that, I am going to invite my partner, Sezen, to the stage, as she will be the one that's doing the heavy lifting. So let's give her a big round of applause as Sezen comes into the stage.
I can't see you guys. I'm way too tiny for this. Can somebody bring me out something to stand on, please?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a little soapbox for me to stand on, and I'll see you when I'm a little bit higher up. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
That's much better.
Perfect, perfect.
All right, so this was very indicative of how projects usually start. You always find some requirements that are kind of lost on you at the beginning, and you need to adjust, which you would like to find out as soon as possible, right? I love starting new projects, but I also hate the part where I'm reading, building basic data models, building list screens, detail screens, edit screens, that type of thing. And really am doing a lot of busy work before I get to the good fun part with building interesting functionality. And with low-code, that is much faster, but I'd like to do it faster still. So let's see how we are going to do it from now on in style with Mentor. All right, let's go to the app generator. And okay, no more reading, right? I don't want to do that. So let's just open up the specification. And let's add our own human specification. So for instance, I'd like to add the color Skobelov on there because I think...
Wait. What? What?
Skobelov.
What is that?
It's a very pretty color, and also it has a really good name. So we're going to make the application Skobelov colored, and we're going to upload this document into Mentor. Now, I said no reading, and that is going to be true for me going forward, but you might want to understand what I am actually uploading into the system. So it's a car order management system that we're building. We have here some context. We can see that we need a Salesforce connection for the customers, data model in there, This is a picture that is always very helpful in clarifying. So we have the customer being connected to the order and the order items. And if you think this looks weird, that is what a product configurator for a car looks like, right? We have a basic car and then we're adding things in. So adaptive cruise control, colors, things like that. So this is something that we already have actually in the system because I've built a product configurator before. So we're going to see if we can reuse those tables because that would be much better for maintainability specifically. Right. Yeah, much nicer. And then finally we have some screens here and some roles and permissions. And I count 4, so count with me if we get that from Mentor as well. Now let's see what Mentor came up with. 4 roles, so that's going well. And it also recognized the different data tables that we have in the product. Now, I would prefer to generate this order table fresh, so let's change that. We are reusing the base product and the option packages from the product configurator, so I like that very much.
Sezen, I saw Salesforce. Can you help Mentor figure this out?
Yes. So what's happening here is we have the customer table, and the customer table is not what it's called in Salesforce. In Salesforce, that is called accounts. So let me see if I change it to accounts, if that will help Mentor out in finding that connection. Well, let's see if we can fix it on the edit screen. So let's go and generate.
All right.
What's happening now is basically the AI model is interpreting the document, it's adding in my human definition, and it's basically checking how to compile an application out of it.
Thank you, Sezen. Great as always. You rock. Okay, so let me catch my breath a little bit and dissect what we've just seen Sezen do. First, it was super easy to tell Mentor what you wanted done. Not only were we able to upload a requirements document, which we didn't really have to read or do anything to it, but we also, Sezen was also able to provide some natural language information about that crazy color that she likes, quite honestly. You learn something every day. But then, Mentor itself, we were able to ground it with all the information that we already had about this particular customer with no effort from us. Zero effort from Sezen, using Mentor's RAG, detected our data systems and more. And then Mentor showed it to Sezen. Critical. It told them, hey, I found these roles, which, by the way, I thought it was 4, just like the 4, so that's all good, and a bunch of other things, and allowed Sezen to interact with the system to make sure that you fine-tune whatever needs fine-tuning at that stage, when it's a fantastic time to include the human in the loop. Anybody that does AI will tell you that it's super important, particularly in generative models, to add humans in the loop. And this is our way of doing just that. All very easy in a natural, guided way. And then, Sezen asked Mentor to go to town and create a solution for us. And that begs the question in your mind, what is Mentor doing right now? In a word, we are shifting left. It's that simple. We are using AI throughout the SDLC, and we're letting developers and stakeholders collaborate a lot earlier in the life cycle. By using Mentor to translate high-level requirements and anything else you tell it, we can generate an application, a running application. There's no mockups allowed here anywhere. This is a full running application, so that you have something to show to your stakeholders and either get alignment really quickly or fail fast and do it again, which is the whole point. Iterating early, as I'm sure you know, most of the people here are developers, is key to software development, so that you can mitigate the costs of catching a mistake too late, and so that you nail the skeleton of the app. And this is a fantastic tool to do that. And it allows you to do basically software engineering just as the textbooks say you should do it. So this is all fantastic. It's lots of business value here. I'm sure it's self-evident to many of you, so many fancy MBA style words, but you don't know me yet. I'm a geek. I started my career as a geek, and by the looks of it, it seems I'm going to finish it as a geek. So I really can't resist the temptation of peeking under the hood just a little bit to let you know what Mentor is doing technically here. And in order to do that, I will take you through the flow of what happened behind the scenes. Let's start at the very beginning. As you saw, we used an already existent requirements document, which of course we process, normalize, tokenize, do all those wonderful things that you do to the documents to make sure that the system can get it. Then we took natural language from the prompt, and you didn't see, but we did do it, is we picked up a ton of information from our platform itself, integrations, public elements. That's where we picked up the Salesforce connector, for instance, and all that. So all of this is used to ground our AI agents, and we have many, as you will see. So in the beginning, right then and there, Mentor goes to work and gives you a first stab of what it's found early on. And what do we focus here? Obviously, we focus in the high-level part of the application. We want to make sure that we've got it the beginning right?
Yes, exactly.
So things like, what is this application about? What's it supposed to do? What are the roles, entities, permissions, basic stuff. And crucially, in order to bring the human in the loop, we show that first tab to the user, and graphically, and using AI-powered suggestions throughout, we allow the user, Sezen in this case, to fine-tune that first tab of the application that they have seen, that we generated. So, and then once done, we click the button and we say, Mentor, go to town. And by the way, if you thought we'd use AI up to this point, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because when you press that button, generate, that's when most of the magic starts to happen. A multi-stage agentic pipeline kicks in. We don't have one agent. We have more than 10. I think there's 13 right now in the system. That's what you're going to see. And they all focus on different parts of the system. They collaborate with each other. They correct each other. And they iterate with each other to make sure that we are creating the application and ultimately yielding a well-formed, fully compliant application model that can be used indistinctly by either Mentor, Odyssey Studio, or both. I love this stuff. This is super cool. But, I could stay talking forever on this. So enough slides for now. Sezen, why don't we show them what Mentor did?
Exactly. So previously on this demonstration, we have generated an application with AI. And this is where we are at. So what we can see is a lot of different screens being generated. There's actually some more here on this side. And we have here in the right-hand side, we have a data model, basically, and we can show the data model on the screen. So if I click on the account, you can see the related screens lighting up. We also have here, for instance, the base products, which we did pull in from the configurator there, so also lighting up quite nicely. And then here at the bottom, we can see the roles. So that is basically how we make sure that people have different accesses depending on who they are, because not everybody should be allowed to do the same things, of course. So let me quickly show you that I did manage to fix the Salesforce thing. So we have everything coming in from Salesforce there. And if I click here on orders, we can actually see the entire flow of the order menu. If we want to zoom in a little bit more, we can actually already see a few previews of the screens. So what we will be showing here is the dashboard for the business user. So we can have a view of how things are going in our organization. And if we want to have a more line-by-line overview of what the orders are going to do, we can go to the list screen. And what I find very interesting about this screen is we can show basically the order statuses of the different order lines, which means that there is a little bit of order stuff happening in here, Luis. There's a little bit of status stuff. So let's look at the status stuff, which I think is the professional the for that. This is the order itself, and you can see here the order trail on top.
Sezen, wait, because I see approved. But
Yes.
you don't seem to have a rejected there. Shouldn't you have a rejected if you haven't approved?
This is a good question. I don't know. I don't know if Mentor messed up or if we forgot to specify it. Let's go and look at the document. All right, so we have here the statuses. We have pending, confirmed, shipped, delivered, and approved, which apparently is important. Let's see if there's rejected there. No, there's not. In fact, I have only 5 statuses here, and I see a 6th one there. It's cancelled. So Mentor came up with that for us.
Wait. So you mean to tell me that the requirements document was incomplete?
Yes.
We didn't catch it.
It tends to happen with specification documents.
Mentor caught it, added the state, and the only thing it didn't do is it called it rejected like I wanted it called. Is that it?
Yes, and so the big question is, does it need to be rejected or is cancelled an acceptable outcome for you?
You do whatever Mentor tells you at this point, I have to tell you.
I've got to be honest, I think Mentor is right. Cancel is just a better, more generic outflow, so we could use it for multiple things. I like it.
Of course.
I'm always siding with Mentor over you, Luis.
We're not biased at all.
Let me show you how to make a change with this, because this is the iterate portion of the demo, right? So we have here the orders table, and say that we want to make a change. I'm going to show you different stages of AI. So first thing, I'm clicking on the plus, and we get the 3 options that Mentor thinks are the most likely things for me to want to do. I think these are nice suggestions. I am going to ignore them. Instead, I am going to say, let's go for the shipping address. And let's figure out what the shipping address is. Within this new context, Mentor is coming up with a lot of cool new options. So we have the different order statuses that are related to shipping. But we also have the ability to add the shipping address as an attribute. And you can tell by the icon in front what kind of thing it will be. So if I click on that, we will see changes in multiple places on the screen. So we will see both in the data model and in the screens where it's changed. So here we have the change screens, and here we have the change data model.
Sezen, excuse me from interrupting.
No, please go ahead.
I see a ton of screens here, a ton of stuff going on. How long would it have taken you to do this without this tool? Be honest.
Well, it would take me easily a week, right? Because you are building, you're reading the document, you're building the data model, you're building the screens. It's always a lot of back and forth.
Wait, but we're 20 minutes into this thing, and most of the time it's been me blubbering. We've saved almost a week then.
Yes, and we did it in 5 minutes. And the best thing is I don't have to do any boring stuff, which is, I think, the takeaway that we want to take from this.
Yeah,
so let me check with you. Is this okay with you? Can I publish?
Yes, please. Go ahead. Let's publish this. Let's see what happens. But, this is just amazing. It's just amazing. And I don't know if it's been super clear. We've been trying to make it clear, sometimes awkwardly clear. But can we take a moment to appreciate the fact that we just went from nothing to a published application in about 10, 15 minutes? You know? Look, it takes a lot of work to do this. It's good stuff. It truly is. But let's summarize what we've seen. So we went from requirements, the document, which, as we saw, it had a few things in it. Admittedly, we knew it had this, but we have, this is all live, and Mentor did catch the different thing. It's amazing. To a full application, which we're able to preview. We updated live, and through.
Do you want to see it, Luis? Maybe we should actually see everybody the application that we've created. So if somebody would allow me to, there we go. Let me share with you the beautiful application that we've come up with. So this is the car order management system, and we can actually log in here with one of the prepared sample users. So this allows me to immediately test out the different roles and permissions and capabilities that people have. Then we have here already the test data loaded in for us, so that will both make it much easier for a business person that I'm showing this to understand what the final look and feel will be, but also for me as a developer to test things out in the application, so that we can basically understand how things come together. I like it. Do you like it, Luis?
I love it. I love it. This is fascinating. To go from nothing to this in 15, 20 minutes, it's groundbreaking. But let's take a moment and understand what we've just seen. As Sezen was navigating the application tree, you saw a lot of things happening at the same time. So first, you saw context-aware recommendations all over the place. Different AI agents, each of them specialized to a particular part of the application, the context, was constantly offering her recommendations on what to do with the structure, with the data model, with everything, pretty much. Now, in addition to that, in the app editor, she was able to very quickly, very easily interface with the system and provide updates, adjust a little bit the data models, and create changes that sometimes are application-wide. They're large, and all of that with immediate feedback. And most importantly, whenever she made any change, it propagated automatically to wherever that change impacts the application, and you could visually see it. When we talk about how to better constrain some of the risks of AI, we believe this is the right way. We believe that this is how, by making it easier for the human to help or nudge the system or whatever, be there, inserted in the loop, is the way with which we can get AI to do exactly what we want. And let me not conclude this particular slide to point the fact again that all of this is done using a bidirectional, interoperable model that works with Odyssey Studio. So what that means in simple terms, you can edit in Studio and Mentor will pick it up. Or you can go back and regenerate in Mentor and Odyssey Studio will pick it up. Indistinguishable. I believe our developers will love that feature and that capability, I would say. All right. Let me catch my breath. Good. Now, so far, we've taken care of creating an application from nothing, and we've iterated, we've done a little bit to it, we've changed a few things here and there. But what if, like 99, maybe 100% of this audience, your boss has told you you have to get more AI into the applications, and we want to embed it. What do we do about it? Let's say we want to create a chatbot or something like that. I don't know. That's the only way I know. How can Mentor help us, Sezen?
Well, let me show you. And no offense, but I think people have seen integrating a chatbot into your application before, so let me show you something else, something that I find more interesting.
Of course.
So if we go here, we see that we have a human workflow. What I did when Luis was talking is I added in a few events and a service action into the application that we built with Mentor.
That workflow is the same workflow, the feature we launched earlier this year, right?
Exactly. These are the loosely coupled workflows in Odyssey. And what you can see here is that through events, we're basically connecting to the application. Okay. We're starting the workflow when the order is created, and then we have a human making a decision on whether the order is approved or not. That person would prefer not to be in the loop, so they would like to be replaced with an AI agent to free up time for innovative tasks that they're definitely going to be doing instead of playing golf. I don't know, I have mixed stories. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build them an AI agent to do this approval flow for us. And for that, I'm going to go to AI Agent Builder. That makes it very easy for us to expose AI to our applications. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this app data feature that we have recently added into AI Agent Builder. It basically allows the AI agent to talk to our database. Let me give that a name.
Where is that information coming from when you're using this?
So the order that I selected is the order that we've just created with Mentor. I just set it to public so that we can expose it from here. And by actually clicking on Add Data Source, what we're doing is we're exposing the database schema to AI Agent Builder so that the agent can make its own very intelligent SQL queries. And for anybody who didn't care about any of that, it allows the agent to talk to the database and basically look up the order themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an agent, and I start with selecting my AI model. As you can see, I can use Claude, I can use GPT, I can even add my own custom model. And the reason why that's important is because AI is such a quickly moving field, we have different specializations in different models. So it's very good for us to be able to tweak which model we're using for which scenario. Let me quickly give it a few instructions. So we give it a role, and we're explaining how to judge whether an order is good or not. So basically the payment method, if it's shipping in one of the distribution areas where we actually are operating right now, and we're adding in a data source of our own, which we've just added through the Add Data configuration step.
This is like your playground, right?
Exactly, and now I'm just adding in a prompt to test things out. And what's really nice about this bubble that we've created with AI Agent is that we can tweak things, we can refine, we can try different combinations, and then we can get better results as time progresses. So what we see here is that the agent made a good judgment. This should be false, I checked beforehand. And it is actually, one of the reasoning is, for instance, that because there is no shipping address, we don't know if it's in Texas or not. And that's nice, because I don't have to define all of those type of not funny extra flows that we need to add. So I'm giving the agent a name, and I'm going to add it into my workflow here. So rather than having a human doing all of that work, we're going to remove that human activity. We're going to remove that human activity, and I'm going to replace it with a call to the agent instead, Luis, which is very nice because then we can automate away a little bit of not so interesting work for the human being who was behind that button. Exactly. So what I'm doing now is I'm adding here my call agent step, giving it the ID that we are going to identify the assistant with. I've called it Dave's assistant because that's the person whose work we're automating away a little bit.
And Sezen, that agent that you're creating, that you created, you can call it from wherever, right?
Exactly. We can use this. Right now we're using it in the workflow, but you could use it, for instance, in an API or wherever you want to add a little bit of that AI magic, basically. And we could even change things to tweak and fine-tune the output that we're getting without interrupting the working of the application or the workflow. So it's very loosely coupled, which I like.
Have you run it? Is there any way to check?
Well, I've just published it, so all that's left to do now is for us to create an order.
All right.
That should basically trigger the workflow to run. And then hopefully we can see if this agent is any good at this new job.
This is the app that Mentor created, sorry.
Yes, exactly. This is the app that Mentor created. Let me give it, so with these two inputs, I think we should go for an approval. So that's how we know if the agent succeeded. If he approves, it's good.
Okay.
If he doesn't, then we have a problem and I need to fine tune a little bit.
All right.
All right, so let me actually show you how we can tell, because of course we need to know what happened within the workflow. So I'm going to open up here my car approval flow, and we're going to go into instances here. And you can see that we have just already finished the instance, so that's nice. And it unfortunately did the wrong decision.
Oh my God.
So we need to talk to Dave's assistant. I don't know if he is hired at this point. I need to fine tune a little bit.
Understood, understood. I mean, there was another one from the past run that we did. All right, thank you, Sezen. Excellent job, fantastic. So what we've just seen is Mentor's approach to help you add AI agents into your own applications. With it, you can provide intelligence, for example, to create, I don't know, applications that do summarization, creative thinking, or approvals like Sezen did in the example. But doing all of this is not that trivial in the world of AI, because you have to do a bunch of things to AI so that what you get is what you actually want. And Mentor helps you at every step of that journey. It helps you bring data that from your context, your prior applications, and much more, so that we can fully ground our use of AI. This is what you saw in the demo. We saw us picking up some of the data from the other application that, as far as the agent knew, I mean, it could have been generated 10 years ago, doesn't really matter. But we could have as easily given Mentor an HR document, let's say, if we want to create a system that responds to it. So many ways to do this. And of course, in the end, all of this functionality, what it does, it allows you to roll out your own AI in a governed, secure way. A few things you might not have seen because we didn't really have the time to show everything, but Mentor allows you to control this in many ways, from the very basic stuff about which model to use, which, by the way, is pretty key to controlling the cost because these things are not cheap, for example, to what temperature to use for the generation part of certain model, right? I mean, all of that, and in essence, to put all of those guardrails that you need to help with compliance as you go. So this is, we believe this is fantastic, and it's something that people are gonna use quite a bit. Now, we've gone through generate, we're going through iterate, we've gone through embed. What remains? Well, what remains is how do we make sure that the applications that we have stay healthy? With Mentor, obviously. Everything today is about Mentor. Now, Mentor will do periodic analysis of your applications. We will do that so that we ensure excellence in your portfolio. And of course, we use AI, we use heuristics, we use a bunch of things. We have, I think, 34 patterns, although they keep growing all the time, that we search for. And it will check architecture, security, performance, and maintainability. You saw some of that in the video that ran, but every 12 hours, to be precise, Mentor will run a check, an automated test of sorts, and it will tell you, and it will flag potential issues so that we keep your CI/CD pipeline running very smoothly. And it will do all of it with deep integration into Studio using the code dashboard quality, adding the states and all that, making sure your many developers can collaborate among them, assign tasks, resolve them, and all of that. This is something that we don't have to think developers will like. We know they do, because some of these features have already been out in the platform for a while in different forms, and we have the data to prove it. Just to give you a sense, some of this functionality is already facilitating more than 4,000 code fixes per day. It's used by more than 70% of our top customers, and it has a ton of activity, daily, weekly, and monthly. And just to put your mind at ease, because I know many of you might be wondering that when we run this test, we need a lot of data and all that. At all times, the user's data is anonymized and always kept safe. Now, we're coming to and that clock is telling me that we're coming to the end of our time here. So let's quickly review how Mentor helped us throughout our SDLC journey. Let's start with discovery and design. We use generative AI to turn your ideas and requirements into an MVP, right? Then we went into the build and test phase, where we optimized the initial MVP that we had with all of these contextual suggestions and visual interfacing, which is fantastic. In the deploy and secure phases, we automated all of this repetitive tasks about code checking and security and all of that, allowing us to have an application with basically a form of automated governance. As we operate and scale, Mentor kept ticking, checking our code and finding security vulnerabilities, inefficiencies, so that we help you keep your technical debt in check. And last but not least, as I look to maintain and evolve, I know we are short of time, I know we wanted to show what happens if there is a late-breaking, big requirements change that never happens in your businesses, but sometimes it happens in ours. But I don't know that we can really do it. So
what kind of requirement change would it be, Luis? Just give me some insight.
I don't know. I mean, let's say that we change car dealers. We have to add the car dealers.
Exactly. We do need to have partners to sell the cars,
correct.
Right? Let's do it. Okay, so
are you sure?
I have a bet for you. All right, so there's two possible outcomes. Either it takes me a long time and you will all be late for lunch and so therefore hate me. So that is my risk, right? But your risk, Luis, is I think that if I manage to do all of this in under 2 minutes, I think 2 minutes should be fine, you will give some members of the audience a few goodies or some merchandise or something.
Are you sure?
Yeah, do you want to make the bet?
All right. You're on. All
right.
Let's do it.
Everybody cheer for me. I'm going to make this change as quickly as possible. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to introduce the whole concept of a car dealer. That's easy enough. I'm going to add it in here as a new data table. That should be fine.
Wow.
And then after that, if we have the time, and otherwise we will call this done. But if we have the time, I will also add the car dealer into the orders. And then I hope to be able to publish it before we actually run out of the clock that is running down there. And I am starting to get a little bit nervous, but that's all right. I think everybody will be okay with me making them late for lunch. I'm sure.
This is one of my favorite parts about this. I mean, notice how she's jumping from Mentor to Odyssey Studio, and she went back to the beginning and added a new thing. And I don't know if we're going to make it. And by the way, this is real.
I'm just going to say,
we haven't been making it lately in less than 2, so.
Luis.
What?
While you were talking, I've won.
Oh, come on.
I've won, yes. Bring out the goodies to give to some of these
people. Let's have some t-shirts for the audience. Or something. I don't know.
There we have some lovely people coming in and throwing some stuff into the crowd. Very nice.
All right. Thank you, Sezen. Thank you very much. I am... I am very happy that even the demo gods were with us today, except for that little thing with Dave's assistant, but he's been giving us trouble lately. Amazing job as usual, I'm sure your father would be incredibly proud of you right now, as we all are, okay?
Thank you.
Ron out there. All right, now, I really want all of you to kickstart your AI journey, and we really want you to I want to invite you to join our waitlist. Make sure that you look at your most audacious projects and you see what you can do with Mentor. Please go ahead, scan this code, get informed, because I believe that Mentor will really, really, really help you and your systems. We really want you to be one of the first select customers to try out Mentor. All of OutSystems is very excited to help you and your organizations thrive in the generative software cycle. But to be fair, I cannot, in all good conscience, close this presentation without acknowledging the team that has made this possible. As you know, I only joined here 4 months ago. I know nothing. It's very easy for me to show here and look beautiful, which is not true, but I always wanted to say, and present these wonderful innovations. But let me tell you, behind this, there is a team of incredibly committed people that not only have sorted out through all the technical hurdles that we face, not only with the demo, but with everything else that we're doing, solved everything, proven everything we've shown you today is absolutely 100% real. But to top it all down, they have had to bring me into the team in the last 4 months, which is probably 10 times worse than solving all of this AI stuff, I'm pretty sure.
You're selling yourself so short.
No, but you know, I wanna give out incredible, congratulations to the team and a debt of gratitude to them from me for being so warm as such an incredible team. With that team, this is only the beginning, okay? So, thank you, okay? All right, now, I promise you, you see this, you know we're closing. We really do believe that the future of software development in this era is here. And really, it is in OutSystems. Thank you very much. Good job. Good job.